talk about something else. None of the other knuckleheads on YouTube will talk about, and this is actually important. There are only 5 areas of high-end, or you could say professional, purpose or groups or arenas of camera functionality, kind of like the right tool for the right job. Like you can have woodworking tools that are specifically for houses, or woodworking tools for like building furniture are different. Obviously they're smaller, they're more specialized, obviously the right tool for the right job, right? Well, I mean, like woodworking tools are not woodworking tools. So obviously, photography obviously is immense, so the what's proper for one arena of photography is a totally different tool for another arena of photography, right? Hopefully you realize that. So anyway, there are 5 distinct and only 5 categories. And I'm going to tell you why some of these are all grouped into a single category. I mean, it should be fairly obvious. Category 1 is sports, action, and wildlife photography. Number 2 is photojournalism. Number 3 is portraiture and landscape. That's all together as number 3. Number 4 is general purpose and high-end or street photography. We say high-end street photography. Most people don't know what the notion of high-end street photography is. Let's just like say a point and shoot as opposed to like a Leica or an X100F, right? Group number 5 would be club photography. In other words, indoor and dark, right? You know what club photography is. And night photography. Specifically, this does not mean, because that would also be under portraiture and landscape. We're not talking about astrophotography, but shooting outdoor events late at night or stuff late at night. So sports, action, and wildlife, those obviously fall into criteria of bodies that require certain buffers. They also require a certain croppability. Like for sports and action and wildlife, you do a lot of cropping. There's a reason why someone has a $20,000 lens mounted on a really cheap, inexpensive Nikon D7100. It's like, well, using a $500 camera and a $20,000 lens. There's a reason for that, and that's pixel pitch. A lot of people have ignorantly told me, like, well, if FX camera is always better in every way than a DX, like that is not true. Most DX cameras have a more translational information per square millimeter of the shot for cropping out. So, group number 2 would be photojournalism. This is where we have frame rates, buffer rates, and ease of use. Actually, like sports, action, and wildlife and photojournalism are almost one group, but they're not. Did some work for a newspaper. If you do any PJ or photojournalistic work, you know that the specific needs and criteria there are not only for speed lights specifically, but for the cameras as its own category. Group number 3, portraiture and landscape. Why are these together? Because the exact same criteria that make a great portrait camera also make it great for landscape. What would that be? That would be as large of a digital sensor as possible and as many megapixels as possible, because that not only gives you the ability to crop, but it also gives you the ability to blow stuff up. So, also dynamic range. Dynamic range, importantly, in portraiture and landscape, incredibly important. So, all the same things that are needed in portraiture are the same things that are needed for landscape photography. So that's group number 3. Group number 4, general purpose and street photography, or high-end street. Like an X-T2 is a general purpose camera also. A Leica camera, the Fujifilm X100F is a street camera. It's made for candid. Of course, you can do lots of stuff with it. And I know someone's going to leave a comment below. It's like, well, I can use my X100F for portraiture too. It's like that world-famous photographer in Australia uses his X100F for high-end portraiture. This is true. This is not saying, you can't take one to the other category, because the leaf shutter lets you do magical things for portrait photography, especially on backlit subjects. You can sync it with anything at any shutter speed. So even though the X100F is a street, general-purpose, candid camera, it has a really unique capability for portraiture. Group number 5, club night photography. Obviously, this should be self-explanatory. Crazy-ass high ISO performance, versatility in the buffer to go into a dark, crappy-ass club and like zoom in, throw some fast glass and zoom in on someone on stage. And I'm going to let you do flash photography, so you need the lens VR, importantly, and you need the camera's high ISO capability, because you're not going to have a monopod or a tripod in a freaking club where everybody's dancing and bumping and grinding, right? So that and night photography are like night event photography. So these are like the hoot owls of cameras. Like the Nikon D500 is a perfect club slash night photography camera. Also the ability to obviously autofocus in low light. So those are the 5 arenas of camera functionality, where form and function meet to suit the best needs of the type of shooter that you are. Sports, action, wildlife, photojournalism, portraiture and landscape, general purpose and street photography, and lastly club and night photography. So I've laid those out and defined them for you. I'm glad I could spell those out because I think this video is pretty succinct and nobody else ever summed it up so simply and so accurately as I did just now. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video, drop me a buck or two, or you can tell me to jump off a cliff or whatever makes you happy. You know, life is short. As long as the information is accurate, useful, and intelligent, and it follows logically that it is true, then it should be helpful. Help you clarify and simplify things in your mind. So, this has been a tough day. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum.